Well, when I left here, when I left AWA, I went to the NWA down in Dallas, Texas, and worked for Fritz von Erich and Paul Bosch down in Houston. And then I went to Georgia Championship Wrestling, and that's when Ted Turner just put the satellite up, so everybody in the country was watching Georgia Championship Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't there very long. I don't think I was there more than 4 months. And then Georgia Championship Wrestling, they weren't doing any business down there to start. I was averaging $350 a week. Then I called Bruno up in the WWF.
Mm-hmm.
And Bruno was a big fan of mine. You know, he's a big weightlifter and everything. So he said, well, let me talk to Vince, not the kid, you know, the old man.
Mm-hmm. Vince Sr., yep.
Yeah, Vince Sr. And so Bruno called me back about a week later and says, yeah, I just talked to Vince. He'd love to have you up here. When could you come? I says, well, anytime you need me. He said, well, we're doing TV. He said, I'm going to give you Vince's phone number. You call Vince and arrange it with Vince. So I called Vince, and he sent me a plane ticket, and he said, you come up for TV for a couple days. Actually, it'd be 3 days, and we'll do that for 2 or 3 TVs, see how it goes, and then that's all I did was TV. I didn't do any house shows or anything. So because they didn't know how. Back in those days, you wrestle in different territories, but nobody knows how good you are until they see you. And
right.
So I was going up there for an audition, really, for wrestling and talking on the mic in front of the TV camera and everything. And so they put Lou Albano as my manager, and that worked out great. I loved Lou. He's half crazy, and I mean really crazy. But so we hit it off the first. When they started getting the feedback back within 3 or 4 days after the first TV showing of when I started, the fans were going wild, as only New York fans can be. And so it went real good. And so I started, that was in October. And I started in... I was actually wrestling for Bill Watts out in Oklahoma territory at the time. And I had a falling out with Bill, but I was living in North Carolina. So I left Oklahoma. I went back to North Carolina, and that's when I called Bruno. And so anyway, we got it all set up, and one thing led to another, and that was it. And then after I did a couple TV shoots, Vince asked me to start in January of 67 or 70. No, 77. Is that 60? No, 77. Yeah, what the hell? 1970. But I'm doing the TV dates in 76. That's what it was. Yeah.
And you pretty much started feuding with Bruno, who helped you get in. But Bruno is like the king of New York, the longtime WWF world champion. You feud with him over the title, which is pretty amazing. Yeah. We wrestled each other 3 times in all the big venues, Madison Square Garden, Boston Garden, the Igloo over in Pittsburgh, down in Philadelphia at the Spectrum,
shit, half those buildings don't even exist anymore.
Crazy, yeah.
Yeah, they've all been torn down. But so I must have wrestled Bruno, shit, I don't know, 30, 40 times at least. And I think we had a sellout percentage of probably about 95, 96%. You know, so the promotion was real happy with me, and I was happy with the money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, back in those days, if you're the main event, Vince took good care of you. And I was there for, I don't remember how long I was there, a year and a half, I guess. And I'd bought a house down in Charlotte, and my family was down there, and so my wife kept bugging me, "Oh, Kenny, come back and work for Crockett Promotions down here," you know. And he said, "I've been talking to Jimmy Crockett's wife and George Scott's wife." George Scott was the booker at the time. They said they can make you as much money as Vince is paying you up there. And I said, "Well, shit, the territory must be doing pretty good." And that they had a hell of a crew down there too. So I went down there and fit right in, and I wasn't making as much money as I was in the WWF, but it wasn't that far off, and it was a lot less hectic. Yeah, the only difference in the WWF, I wrestled about 17 times a month, I remember. Down in Charlotte and the Crockett Promotions, NWA, we wrestled 28, 29 days a month.
Oh,
we
wow.
We didn't get any time off. As a matter of fact, in 1979, I had 10 days off that year. 10 days off.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's it. Wow.
10 days off.